Good evening. Thank you for joining me here on the Royal House of Ra. I am your host, Amen Hotep Kufu El Ra. Tonight's show is episode 3, in which I would explain the imperial, royal, and nobility titles of the Royal House of Ra, and also explain the rules that governs the royal house, and also go into the medals, uh, go into the orders and medals and decorations of the royal house of Ra. I like to give a Before we begin, I like to give a thank you to all of those of you within the Kemetic community and out of the Kemetic community who supported uh, my show here on YouTube, the Royal House of Ra, and I ask of you to continue your support of the show. Please because that helps out with my shows, um, with YouTube's algorithms, and it'll help out with that. And also subscribe and notification button so you know when future episodes will appear. So let's go into today's show, and I'm going to explain and read to you as I mentioned before at the beginning, the meanings of the royal titles and what they stand for. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a picture of it right here. Now this is where you would see all the royal titles, and I go into it and explain to you. So let's get going here. Let's put this in there. Okay, first title is Kas. That is emperor. Okay, so let me show you here. Kas equals emperor. Kas Kastet. No, actually, Kashir equals empress. Then you have Kastut equals imperial crown prince. Then you have Kastet, which equals to imperial crown princess. Then you have Katut, which equals to imperial prince. Then you have Katet equals imperial princess. Okay, so I'm gonna write down the other ones here so we can get a general picture of. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I don't know. I'm pretty much fine. Just hope to get better. Now I'm gonna go with these titles here. I'm gonna write it down for you so you can see. Starting with the one on the very top, and then you'll have those in the bottom. All right. Yeah. Because this will help when I go into breaking down the laws and rules. So when I say certain titles, you won't be confused. Like, what is he talking about? You know. So now it's best to do this first, so you can get a general idea what these titles mean. So when I say, like, for example, Kastut, you're gonna say, well, what is that? And when I'm explaining the roles, excuse me, explaining the laws and regulations of the royal house, you're gonna be, what is a Kastut? Kastut is the crown prince, the heir to the throne. Now, the ones I just mentioned earlier are the imperial titles of emperor, empress, and imperial crown prince. These are the royal titles that I'm explaining to you now. The breakdown of these royal titles, so you have a general understand what these titles mean. So you won't like, oh my God, what is he talking about here? All right, so bear with me as I write this down, so because I really want you guys to understand what these titles mean. I don't want to say things and then you have no idea what I'm talking about. So let's see. Yep. All right. Okay, give you. I hope everyone had a great New Year's Day. Enjoy your New Year's. Uh, I like to say great uh, spiritual horizon. So uh, others may have their own explanation. Um, yeah. I really don't do too much. I keep myself in study and focus on things I need to be doing right now because there's a lot of great things I'm doing at this moment, and I don't need to be my mind to be cluttered or clouded with foolishness. All right, almost done here. Let me get. Oh yeah. All right, I'm almost done with the royal titles. All right. All right. Let's get this going here. So you know. Oh my God! There's two imperial titles I forgot to mention. I'll do it after I do these royal titles. All right. Now let's get on this thing. Okay. Kas stands for equals to king. Kas share equals queen. Kastut crown prince. Kastet crown princess. Katut prince. Katet princess. Kasga is grand king. Kasget is grand queen. So these last titles, the Kasga and the Kasget, when I say grand king or grand queen, those are titles referring to a king and queen that once sat on the throne. They are the parents of the ruling monarch. So let's say, excuse me, for example, the king abdicated in favor of his son. Now his son is the Kas. So he becomes Kasga, grand king. So he's no longer ruling, but he has the higher authority of grand king, meaning that he is the father of the king. As the female equivalent would be Kasket, which she is the mother of the king, of the ruling sovereign. Okay, so let me add those. Let me put down the two um, imperial titles I forgot to put in here. I don't know why I forgot this. Let me put those down. Then we can move into the nobility titles. Okay, and then we'll go down into explaining. Before we go into explaining the rules, we go in and explain about the name. with why L is important and stuff like that. All right, so let me get these two down quickly, and then we can go into the um, the nobility title. And usually for um, a king to become a grand kas, or I mean, to become a kaska, the grand king is usually he abdicated in favor of his son. Um, that's how he become one. He doesn't become by death. He becomes because he's living. He abdicated in favor of his son. He no longer wants to rule on the throne, so he abdicated in favor of his son or daughter, whatever one comes first. Um, okay. Same with the Queen Mother, the casket. Okay. Grand Kas, which stands for Grand Emperor. That is the father of the emperor. And then you have Grand Kasket, which is the Grand Empress, the mother of the emperor. Okay. So now let's go into the nobility titles, because it's important that I go through this with you guys first before I go any further into this, because it makes no sense going into this and you have no understanding what these titles mean. Uh, okay, let's go into that. And like I had mentioned before in the show, for those who want to uh, contribute to the show, you can, you know, or if you want to make a request about talking about something about um, ancient Kemet, we can do that, because that's what it originally in episodes down the road we're going to talk about things about Kemet. I want to focus a little bit more on Kemet's political aspect, on the throne and how the throne relate to the people and to God. Uh, some people would call it God, but Ra, and to the priests, and what was the importance of uh, the monarch in ancient Kemet, right? But you know, a lot of people in the Kemetic community, and it's not the down for. I don't want you to take it as um, a disrespect. It's not, but a lot of them focus a lot. For me, I think they focus a little bit too much on the spiritual side of Kemet, because Kemet could not become a great empire just praying all day long in a temple. They had to have leadership, a structure of political leadership, structure of the society in order to become an empire. You don't become an empire just sitting in temples praying all day. So that's an aspect what I find that a lot of people in the Kemetic community focus a little bit too much is on the spiritual side. Yes, the spiritual side of ancient Kemet was a very vital part. It was a it was part of their everyday life. They couldn't do anything without it, you know. So it was very important, but they just didn't focus on that alone. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that they did focus on things that we similarly focus on today of political. They didn't have political parties or nothing like that, but they did have a political social hierarchy in order to be able to create the empires that they had, and for the great rulers that they had and was known for, right? So we can't knock that out and just focus too much on the I'm gonna if you see me unloosen this, I'm gonna unloosen this because, like I said, I'm not feeling too well, and um I may unloosen that, so don't don't be alarmed. I'm almost done with these. I may have to, after I do these, I may have to write the last parts of the titles after this. So bear with me, please. Yeah, so like I said, I want to focus more on the political dynasties and the how these dynasties came apart, came not apart, but came about, and you know what caused them to collapse, and what was their major contribution to the Kemetic Empire. You know, Kemet. Some people say the Kemetic Empire lasted for 5,000 years. Others say 10,000. I think it was 10,000. I strongly believe it was, because they were the first civilizations. First civilizations happened on the African continent, um, and Kemet was the first of all of the African civilizations, and then all the others came afterwards. Now there was other African kingdoms and empires during the time of Kemet's empire further south, like in the you had the Kushite, you had the Nubian empires, then Punt. Then you had other empires down there in the Congo, in the Horn of Africa. You had empires around in that area. So you had a various amount of empires. So that traded with Kemet, you know, and they don't discuss that much. And that's something I want to get into as well on here on this channel, to discuss that um, Kemet trading and align himself with other kingdoms and empires within the African continent, which was it really happened. So, and but it's not discussed. They, you know, on quote. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to start any political debates on that. But certain intellectual groups, foreign, not of African descent, or you may say Egyptologists would say, oh, well, they only dealt with certain groups, and you know, okay, all right, you know, to each his own. All right, let's get into the nobility titles here. Okay, Nepti is Duke, Nepta, Duchess, Kafut, Baron, Kafet, Baroness, Mahut, Marquise, Mahet, Marquess, Getut, Count, Getet, Countess. So those are the nobility titles. Now there's two. Actually, it's about four more nobility titles I'm going to put on here that I didn't get a chance to, and then we can move on to the other parts of this. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about me going focusing more on the political aspect of Kemet instead of the spiritual part? That's something I would like to hear from you guys and what you think about that. Um, we can go into that, and see how that is. All right, and one more title, and then we can move forward with this. Okay. Dang. Okay. Now we have Lo Gut, which is Lord, Loket, which is lady, and Dahut, which is knight, and Dahit, which is dame. So those are the noble titles. The Dahut and Dahit is the lowest ranking nobility title. Lakut and Laket are the titles given to sons and daughters of dukes, barons, counts, marquess, and marquis. Okay, and kafuts and kafets. All right, so those are the titles, the imperial, royal, and nobility titles of the royal house of Ra. Okay, now I'm going to go into the part here, and I'm going to start and begin from this point on. The royal house of Ra. Now, these, I'm going to explain what these are. I'm going to go through them. Okay, the meaning of the family name L is a royal particle. Now, L is the name that comes after each name. For example, my name, Amenhotep, right? That would be the name I was given by birth, or that would be the name I would choose as my crown name. Khufu is my father's name. So every member of the royal house of Ra would have their father's first name as their second name. And then L, which I'm going to explain what L stands for. And then Ra is the royal house of Ra surname. Okay, so let me go into this. L is a royal particle, meaning the full manifested power of the light within. This royal particle can only be used by members of the royal family of Kemet. Ra is the surname of the royal family of Kemet. Kemet would be the country that we would call if we have a stop. That's something that I'm going to go into further down the road that I'm working on with some others to actually um, do international law, claim this land that's not claimed, and create a sovereign nation. But I'll go into further with you about that down the road. Um, okay, the family name comes from Ra, the god of ancient African spiritual faith, in which the royal family derive and receive their right to govern. Ra is the god of the royal house of Kemet and protector of the royal house of Kemet. Okay, now I'm going to go into, once again, into the title, but the royal titles, like if you have like certain, let's say like countries, let's say for example, Ethiopia, when it was a monarchy, the titles of the emperor was His Imperial Majesty, uh, um, I forgot. I used to know his titles real well, but there's different titles, right? So I'm going to go with the first one here. You remember the titles I told you about. So, Ka Kas equals Emperor. Emperor of Kemet, His Imperial Majesty. King of the Nation, Celestial Son of Ra. Imperial King of the Armed Forces, Kas. king of Nefer-Netet. Kaskir, empress of Kemet, her imperial majesty, queen of the nation, celestial daughter of Ra, imperial queen of the armed forces, Kasker, queen of Nefer-Netet. Ka Kastut, imperial crown prince of Kemet, his imperial serene highness, imperial prince of Nefer-Netet, righteous son of Ra, imperial Kafut, imperial baron of the royal of the imperial baron of the house of Ra, Kastet, imperial crown princess of Kemet, her imperial serene highness, imperial princess of Nefer-Netet, righteous daughter of Ra, imperial Kafet, imperial baroness of the royal imperial baroness of the house of Ra, Katut, imperial prince of Kemet, his imperial highness, high son of Ra, imperial prince of the house of Ra, Katet, imperial princess of Kemet, her imperial highness, high daughter of Ra, imperial princess of the house of Ra. Now those are the imperial titles. Now let's go into the royal titles. Kas, king of Kemet, his royal majesty, prince of the nation, anointed son of Ra, lord prince of the armed forces, Nepti, duke of Nefer-Netet, Kasker, queen of Kemet, her royal majesty, princess of the nation, anointed daughter of Ra, lady princess of the armed forces, Netta, duchess of Nefer-Netet. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me. Okay, Kastut, crown prince of Kemet, his serene highness, prince of Nefer-Netet, son of Ra, hereditary Kafut, baron of the house of Ra. Kastet, crown princess of Kemet, her serene highness, princess of Nefer-Netet, daughter of Ra, hereditary Kafet, baroness of the house of Ra. Katut, prince of Kemet, his royal highness, son of Ra, prince of the house of Ra. Katet, princess of Kemet, her royal highness, daughter of Ra, princess of the royal house of Ra. Okay, now I'm going to go into the rules, regulations of the house, and the different titles of individuals of the household. All imperial, royal, and noble titles of the House of Ra will be bestowed upon by the reigning monarch who currently occupies the throne. These titles are bestowed upon members of the royal House of Ra at birth or by marriage into the royal House of Ra. The Constitution states in detail the reigning monarch's right to be able, the right to be the only individual to bestow titles. Commoners who marry into the royal family only will be bestowed titles of count or countess. They shall never receive any other higher ranking title than what is declared for them. If a commoner marries the heir to the throne, then the only title bestowed upon them will be Duke Consort or Duchess Consort. The foreign royal who marries the heir to the throne, the title bestowed upon them will be Prince Consort or Princess Consort. When the heir of the throne becomes the sovereign, then the Prince Consort or Princess Consort will be elevated to King Consort or Queen Consort. If a commoner is a foreigner of African descent, then the titles of Count or Countess will be the only titles bestowed upon them. Their children would be granted titles of Lord and Lady. Their children will be in the line of succession. If any members of the royal family marry someone from the nobility, their spouse would retain their titles of peerage, and they would be bestowed the title Prince Consort and Princess Consort. If someone from the peerage marries an heir to the throne, that heir becomes sovereign, then they will be elevated to king consort and queen consort. Then their children would be granted royal and nobility titles. If a child is produced by such marriage, then that child will be given the title of crown prince or crown princess and bestowed a royal peerage title as well. The heir apparent has the right to choose to be in a monogamous marriage or a royal harem marriage. The sole purpose of the harem is to preserve the dynasty, not for one's own amusement. If the heir apparent is infertile, then the heir elect is allowed to choose to have a monogamous marriage or a royal harem marriage. In the harem, the heir apparent or heir elect can only have 5 wives only. The first wife of the harem who produced the first male child shall be crowned queen. The other wives of the harem will be titled princess of the harem. Each wife in the harem is only allowed to bear 5 children each. Male preference primogeniture accords succession to the throne to a female member of the dynasty if and only if she has no living brothers and no deceased brothers who left surviving legitimate descendants. A dynast's sons and their lines of descent all come before the dynast's daughters and their lines. Older sons and their lines come before younger sons and their lines. Older daughters and their lines come before younger daughters and their lines. All titles of peerage and nobility are hereditary, passed down from father to son through the nearest senior or junior male branch of the noble line. Okay? When you are in the presence of the monarch, you must approach the throne by entering the throne room with a bow. Then walk to the center of the throne room and bow. Then you must be 8 feet from the by throne, bow to the monarch, the consort, and heir to the throne. Speak when the monarch acknowledges you. When you walk beside the monarch or members of the royal family, walk behind them on their right side, 3 feet away from them. When the monarch or members of the royal family present you their hand of greeting, you bow first, then kiss their ring, which has the royal coat of arms on the ring. By doing this shows you respect the monarch and members of the royal family. This shows you acknowledge their authority. When addressing the sovereign, you must address him or her as his or her majesty. The heir apparent must be addressed as his or her serene highness. For other members of the royal family, they should be addressed as His or Her Royal Highness. When you are addressing the nobility, always address a duke or duchess as Your Serene Grace and Your Lady Grace. A baron and baroness should be addressed as Your Lordship and Ladyship. A count and countess will be addressed as Your Lord and Your Lady. Same for a marquise and marquess. You will address a lord and lady as Your Gracious Lord and Your Gracious Lady. You will address a knight and a dame as Your Honorable Knight and Your Honorable Dame. When at a state dinner, the sovereign sits at the head of the table. The sovereign's consort sits at the sovereign's left side, and the heir apparent sits on the right side of the sovereign. All government representatives and foreign dignitaries and military leadership sit on the left side of the sovereign. All senior and junior members of the royal house sit on the right side of the sovereign. Head of the crown council and nobility and head of the priesthood sit on the right side of the sovereign. When the sovereign is not at the royal palace, the royal standard is flown half staff. When the sovereign is at the palace, the royal standard is flown full staff. Okay. Let's see. Let me read this here. Uh, totally, Adriana. Thank you for joining in to tonight's show. Um, if you missed what is going on, tonight's show is episode 3. We're going to be talking about the imperial and royal and nobility titles of the Royal House of Ra, and also talk about the what the different titles mean, the rules and regulations, and the orders and decorations. All right, now Lord Sage is the private secretary to the monarch. The Lord Sage is responsible for the day-to-day duties of the monarch. The Lord Sage handles all engagements the monarch will conduct on a workday. Also, counsel the monarch on governmental affairs and the running of the state. The Lord Sage will also advise the monarch on constitutional laws. The Lord of Ceremonies' responsibilities is to have full control of all royal residents and household staff, to make sure household staff perform their daily duties in the upkeep of royal residence. Make sure chefs and kitchen staff maintain the timely meals ready for the royal family and guests and those who attend state dinners at royal residence. Also, to make sure all wait staff in the dining room are well dressed and prepared to serve the royal family and guests. Also, to make sure that motorcade vehicles are in working order and the chauffeur staff are ready for duty. The Royal Press Secretary is responsible for all media coverage of the monarchy. Also, work with the Lord Sage in preparing speeches for the monarch and members of the royal family. The Lord Commander of the Royal Guard is in charge of security of the royal family and royal residence. The head of the Royal Guard is a field marshal who heads a Royal Guard force of 50,000 military personnel. The Royal Guard is an elite wing of the armed forces which only adhere to the authority of the reigning monarch. The Lord Commander of the Royal Guard, Magi, have a staff consisting of generals and admirals and junior officers and non-commissioned officers. The Royal Guard consists of a Paratroop Division, Mobile Air Armor Division, Attack Helicopter Division, Armor Division, Sniper Division, Plainclothes Division, Air Force Division, Artillery Division, and Naval Division. The Crown Council is the representing body of the monarch. Their duties consist of counseling the monarch on the affairs of the state and play an advisory role to the monarch. The head of the Crown Council is the president. Hold on for a moment. Is the president. Crown Council consists of senior members of the royal family, nobility, military, priesthood, government, and scholars. Okay, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a 3 minute intermission. So this is a good time to, if you want to go over, go back into the video and see what was discussed earlier, or this is a great time to go on a bathroom break or get something to dress. Get something to drink or go and stretch out stuff. So we're going to go to a 3 minute break. And when we come back to the 3 minute break, I'm going to discuss Kemet's orders and decorations. So before we're going to go on this 3 minute break, let's make it 5 minutes. We go on a 5 minute break. No, let's make it 3 minutes. We go on a 3 minute break. And when we come back, as I stated before, I'm going to go over the Kemet's orders and decorations. Okay, I am back. So let's go over. As I mentioned, that we're gonna go over the orders and decorations. So let's do that. Once again, thank you for those who tuned into the show. If you had missed the show, when the show posted, which will post a couple minutes after the show is over, you can go back to it and review what you had missed. Okay, first order, the order of Ramses III. Only the sovereign wear this order. It is a star shape. In the center of it is a blue ruby. Attached to a golden chain embedded in the chain symbols of the crown and scepter. At the end of the chain is the crown of Kemet with a cross scepter. It is accompanied with an blue sash with golden trim. Also, a blue ribbon is associated with it. The Order of Ra. Both sovereigns and heir apparent wear this order. It is a star shape. In the center is a orange yellowish colored disc, which represents Ra, protector of the royal house of Ra. It also has an orange yellowish ribbon associated with it. It also has a golden chain with the symbol of Ra around it, and at the end of the chain, a symbol of Ra. The Order of Mantu. All members of the House of Ra wear this order. It is a military order. It is of star shape with a red sapphire in the center of it. It also has a golden chain with a symbol of Montu, the bull head with red sapphire for eyes. At the end of the chain, there is a symbol of Montu. Also has a red ribbon associated with it. The Order of the Pyramid. All members of the Royal House of Ra wear this order. This order symbolizes strength of the Royal House of Ra. It also, it is of star shape with a golden pyramid in the center, with a diamond centered within the pyramid. It has a golden chain with golden pyramids that goes around the chain. At the end of the chain, there is a symbol of the pyramid. It also has purple ribbon. The Order of the Eye of Horus. All members of the Royal House of Ra wear this order. This order symbolizes kingship. It has a star shape with the Eye of Horus at the center with gold and onyx in the background. It also has a golden chain with images of the Eye of Horus around it. At the end of the chain, there is a symbol of the Eye of Horus. It also has the black ribbon with three gold bars. The Order of the Seal of Kemet. Only the sovereign wear this order. This order represents the sovereign seal of the nation. It is star-shaped with an image of a golden crown in the center. It also has a golden chain with images of the crown, excuse me, going around it. And at the end of the chain, there is a symbol of the crown of Kemet. It also has a golden ribbon with a black dot in the center. The sovereign only wears this order only when the sovereign travels abroad and at state dinners. The Order of the Righteous Ankh is an order centered to honor is an order created to honor those who commit to the well-being of their nation and its citizenry. This prestigious honor is given to world leaders, military leadership, nobility, citizens of Kemet, and foreign dignitaries. It is a star shaped with a golden lion at the center. The eye of the lion are of red sapphire. It is accompanied with a gold chain with golden lions placed around the chain. And the end of the chain is a golden lion with the crown of Kemet placed on top of the lion's head. It also has a red ribbon with black dot at its center. The Royal Star of Peace is a order created to honor those who pursue peace and demonstrates extraordinary humanity. It is star-shaped with two doves in the center. It is accompanied with a golden chain. At the end of the chain, there is two doves placed in an open star-shaped disc. There is doves attached all around the chain. It also has a white ribbon with three blue dots. The honorary star of Kemet is an order created for citizens of Kemet who are committed in the prosperity and welfare of the nation. It is star shaped with the crown of Kemet on top. It is accompanied with a gold chain. At the end of the chain, there is a silver star with the crown of Kemet at the top of it. There are stars with the crown of Kemet placed all around the chain. It also has a beige ribbon and three black stars at its center. Now we're going to go into the, excuse me, still have this cold, military honors and medals. So we're going to start with, if anyone have any questions, you can leave something in the comment section, but please leave something in the comment section. Please be civil and conduct yourself in a civil manner and ask legitimate questions. And if you please do not put something on there that's ridiculous, because I will put you on blast. But let's go forward here. Kemet's Royal Navy, the Royal Anchor of the Sea, is awarded to naval officers of high rank. The medal is given to those officers who demonstrates good leadership and command at sea. The medal is gold disc shaped with three anchors and the crown of Kemet at the top. The ribbon is white with two blue stripes. The Sea Lion of Bravery is awarded to officers and sailors who demonstrates bravery out at sea. The medal is a silver disc shape with two anchors and the crown of Kemet at its center. The ribbon is gold with blue stripes at its center. The Iron Seaman is awarded to officers and seamen who demonstrate leadership, character, and teamwork. The medal is an anchor in the golden circle, is oval in shape. The ribbon is navy blue with red stripes. The Vessel of Iron is awarded to all members of a ship that performed exceptionally out at sea. The medal is square in shape. At its center is a naval ship. The medal is silver. The ribbon is evergreen with two black bars. The Honorary Seaman is awarded to officers and sailors who demonstrates valor and honor out at sea. At the center of the medal, you have an image of an officer cap and sailor cap. The medal is oval in shape and it is bronze. The ribbon is brown with purple bars. The Sea Anchor of Command is awarded to a senior officer who shows exceptional leadership while leading a naval battle group. The medal is silver with a with an anchor on top with an image of a naval battle group. The ribbon is white with two yellow bars. Okay, now we're going to go into Kemet's Royal Army. The Royal Sword of the Army is awarded to officers of high rank. The medal is given to officers who demonstrate extraordinary level of leadership and bravery. The medal is silver in this shape with two swords placed over each other at the center with the crown of Kemet on top. The ribbon is green with orange trim. The Magi Badge of Courage is awarded to officers and soldiers of the Royal Guard. The Magi is given to members of the Royal Guard who shows extraordinary bravery in battle and loyal, devoted service to the sovereign and royal family. The medal is gold, oval in shape with onyx trim, with a shield with two swords crossed on top of it. In the center of the medal, the ribbon is green with black trim. The double companion of bravery is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to those service members who shows honor and valor during war or during peace. The medal is bronze in square. The medal is square in shape. In the center is two crossed spears. The ribbon is brown with a gold line in the middle. The battle axe of strength is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to units who demonstrate cohesive tactical strength in battle. The medal is gold, oval in shape, with two axes crossed and placed in the center of the medal. The ribbon is red with yellow trim. The Bow of Force is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to individuals who shows exemplary mastery of weaponry. The medal is bronze disc in shape with a bow in its center. The ribbon is gold with white trim. The Chariot of Stealth is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to armor units who shows courage and cohesive tactical movement in battle. The medal is silver oval in shape with a tank at its center. The ribbon is green with two silver bars. The Arm of Armor is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to armor and artillery units who coordinate penetrating attacks in battle. The medal is bronze and square in shape with a tank and cannon at its center. The ribbon is black with three green bars. The Iron Spear of Bravery is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to divisions who shows exemplary bravery in battle. The medal is silver, oval in shape with two crossed spears and one spear placed at its center. The ribbon is red with three yellow dots at its center. Kemet's Royal Air Force. The Royal Falcon of the Air Force is awarded to officers of high rank. The medal is given to officers who demonstrate exemplary leadership and planning. The medal is gold disc in shape. In the center of it is the Falcon of Horus with the crown of Kemet at its top. The ribbon is blue with a Falcon of Horus at its center. The Golden Falcon of Bravery is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to those who demonstrate bravery in battle. The medal is silver oval in shape with a falcon at its center with two arrows at its sides. The ribbon is sky blue with white trim. Okay. The Airman Achievement Medal is awarded to airmen The medal is given to airmen who demonstrate exemplary commitment to their duty. The medal is silver, oval in shape, with two cross lanes at its center. The ribbon is white with blue trim. The double wingman medal is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to those who show valor, honorable duty to air command. The medal is bronze in square in shape with two cross spears with a falcon rested on its top. The ribbon is sky blue with red trim. The Elite Bomber Squadron Medal is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to bomber squadrons who demonstrate cohesive formation in battle. The medal is silver, oval in shape with a bomber at its center. The ribbon is yellow with blue trim. The Air Squadron Medal is awarded to all ranks. The medal is given to fighter squadrons who demonstrate courage and valor during battle. The medal is gold disc in shape with a fighter at its center. The ribbon is maroon with three blue bars. Okay, so that is it with all imperial royal titles and uh, medals and decorations and orders and explaining of the royal house. As I stated before, um, you can go back to the beginning of the show and watch the show. And also, um, as I mentioned before when I was talking earlier, I'm going to do more shows that's going to be as focus more on Kemet's political structure and how it relates to the pharaoh, the priesthood, and the people, and how all work together to make Kemet the great empire that it once was. Um, and as I stated before, I'm not knocking others who's in the Kemetic community who really teach and really give vital information about Kemet. But some of them focus a little bit too much on the spiritual side. They don't focus on the other side that helped created Kemet and created its empire. Now, episode 4 is going to be about uh I'm going to talk about the succession to the throne. That's going to be in the Constitution I written, because I've written the Constitution that was 133 articles. Out of the law of succession, the first 25 articles are the laws of succession and who would ascend to the throne and what is the requirements to ascending to the throne. So I'm going to explain that. That show on January 9th at 7 p.m. Central Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So once again, that will air January 9th of 2022 at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Once again, thank you all for who tuned into this show. Continue your support of the Royal House of Ra show here on YouTube. Remember to like the show, because this will help with my with YouTube, and also um, subscribe and also click the notification bell so you know when new upcoming episodes appear. So once again, thank you for joining me here on the Royal House of Ra. Please enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of your week that's coming ahead. Be safe and God bless.